Right, the final clip of Metroid Samus returns. Let's see what they thought would make a better endgame antagonist than the main monster of the game. Ah, such a devious final challenge. Making it annoying as hell to reach our ship. And most definitely worth us scouring the planet for any and every upgrade we hadn't already gotten before dealing with the Metroid Queen. Sorry if I sound a bit bitter there. I really feel like the Metroid Queen deserved more build-up and for her fight to feel more special than just her being a different form of Metroid that we needed to memorize the pattern of for this game. Sorry, kid, but we can't really get to the ship until I figure this shit out. Possibly not the proper way to get through there, but it's good enough in my books. And apparently, despite all that annoyance, there is no way further to the right in this room. Still, looks like we can go higher if we go back left. Right, time to take the skies, though I somehow doubt that even this high up will have any open air above us. There's always got to be a ceiling of some kind, though now I can't help wondering if there's any altitude limit for how high space jumping can actually take Samus upwards. Right, cutscene just as we reach our ship, which means this game's final boss is a bit of a break. Well, hello there, Ridley. You're looking good considering Metroid 2 was originally one of the few games in the franchise you didn't make an appearance in. Apparently we can shoot him with absolutely anything and it's still gonna damage him, whereas in every other 2D appearance in the series that I can think of, you need missiles to hurt him. Well, his attack pattern certainly is more in your face than the Queen's, that's for sure. There's just something so satisfying about getting into a slugging match with this guy, something to help prevent him from feeling tired, despite being the single most recurring enemy in the entire franchise. I've honestly got mixed feelings about fighting Ridley on this planet just before we leave, and none of them have anything to do with the lore. On one hand, he looks great. A nice mashup of his purely organic appearance in Zero Mission and Super Metroid, while acknowledging that in the Prime series, he was at least partially cybernetic after all the beatdowns he had taken. I'm not going to ask how he goes from being held together by machinery to perfectly healed between this moment and when Super Metroid starts. I'm just going to smile at the fact that this is an acknowledgement that the Prime sub-series is canon. I also love the fact that the cutscenes we go through each stage of the fight look this time awesome. Really conveys that he's a vicious bastard, and Samus is ruthless against him. And it also sells the idea that the two are so evenly matched, despite the fact that, technically speaking, Samus has defeated him multiple times, even this far in the timeline. Add in the fact that he's just big enough to be intimidating and just mobile enough to make fights against him always feel frantic, and he just hits the absolute sweet spot for me in terms of boss design, especially in this game. This It's just always a pleasure to fight Ridley in this series, and this is arguably the best boss fight against him in terms of his moveset, the difficulty, and of course the cutscenes we go through from one stage to the next of the fight. On the other hand, the Metroid Queen certainly could have used some outright cutscenes as we went through each stage of the fight against her. You mean to tell me that the creature that only ever shows up in the second installment of the series, and maybe Other M if you're willing to go through that mess, is being overshadowed by someone who wasn't even in the original version of the game as a boss fight? Huh. First try and I managed to get to the third stage of this fight? I honestly didn't think I'd do this well against him, considering he was supposed to be a tougher boss than the Queen. Sure, he's still incredibly dangerous and not to be taken lightly by any means whatsoever. Still, that does make it even more absurd that there are so many upgrades we're only able to reach once we get the baby, when the only fight those upgrades would be good for would be this one. Not quite as absurd as when we fought a robot replica of him back on the Zero mission, but still, feels a bit unintentionally silly. Or maybe I just find it silly and nobody else does. Regardless, as much as I like the fact that they're ending this game on a high note, it's hard not to be annoyed that they put this much love and care in Ridley, who was never a part of Metroid 2, but the Metroid Queen ended up feeling like she got shafted, and not in a pleasant way. Okay, that's quite a bit of damage from a single attack. Bit predictable that we couldn't make it through this fight on the first take, but I'm kind of proud we made it to the third stage in just one try. Now let's try that again. Part of me was tempted to not skip it, but we've already seen it, and it's not like it's a surprise on any level anymore. Seriously, considering just how many enemies in this game seem to be annoying to track how injured they are based on their colors in this game, you'd think they'd at least consider giving some of these bosses actual health bars for us to track. First stage certainly feels easy enough, but it's still punchy enough to feel awesome. Oh no, you're not just flying away with that baby today. Oh, did the mean space dragon hurt you? Well, don't worry, we just hurt him a lot worse. How many lesser foes would have been finished off when that section of wall fell on them? And that was just the first stage of the fight against Ridley. Yeah, we may not be as graceful in the air as you, but we're still somewhat capable of flight ourselves. Though I've got to admit, I've got no idea how he managed to do that ground attack that keeps on going, even when his tail isn't touching the ground anymore. Or how he's able to move faster than before when his tail is stuck in the ground for an extended period of time. You'd damn well think that sort of thing would slow him down. Right, on to stage 3 again. Is it just me or did that feel faster than last time? Thankfully, we're not injured by this cutscene despite the hit Samus has taken here. Okay, so we rescued the baby for the first round, and the baby rescues us for the second. We've certainly made fast friends with the little bastard, despite the fact that we literally killed every other Metroid on the planet, including his mother. Actually, is it accurate to call the baby Metroid a boy, or is it a girl? Despite dealing with so many of them, in 2 games straight, I'm not enough of an expert to even know if the freaky jellyfish things have genders, or if it develops one when it gets older. Okay, we're not perfectly dodging things here, but at least it feels like we're doing more damage to him than he's doing to us. Or at least I think we are. A little hard to tell when we don't see him shift in color, and he doesn't have a health bar. And that should do it for Phase 3. Wait, what? I was kind of expecting that to be the end of the fight, not that he'd have a Phase 4. Granted, that was a short cutscene compared to the others in this fight, but still, can you blame me for relaxing when it triggered? Yeah, you're not pounding us against that wall again. Just one time was more than unpleasant enough. Though apparently it is a lot more annoying to avoid him just stomping on us. Is this the end? No, just another healing from the Metroid. Wonder how Samus feels about being healed by a Metroid, considering how many she's slaughtered because they see her as a meal. Son of a bitch, didn't think he'd trigger that attack from so far away from the wall. Okay, now we're done. Thanks for the dance, Ridley. Looking forward to our next one. Yeah, he's had enough for now. Though this is certainly the first time we've seen a body just laying there at the end of a fight with him. I'd ask why Samus didn't try to make absolutely sure he's dead for good this time. But then after that fight, she's probably too busy just wanting to finally get off this rock and maybe deal with any of her broken ribs or something. After all, there's no way he's gonna be getting back up anytime soon after a beatdown like that. Right? Right, rolling credits now. Again, this was a damn fun game, even if I feel they botched some of the more important steps. They made the ending feel awesome in its own right. That's got to count for something. somehow felt like more than 9.5 hours, possibly because taking down each Metroid was quite a task. What, no grade to go along with the time, or any mention of what percentage of upgrades we picked up? Ah, so we're getting a stinger. A stinger that hints at Metroid Fusion, which we'll get to eventually. Don't worry, little guy, you'll get your chance to shine.